again. Yes, this is Aidan here at Spot One Bikes. Going to show you how to assemble a little kid's bike here, which is that one there, and that is a 24-inch. And the tools you're going to need, let me see now, sometimes they give those to you, sometimes they don't. So I use a torque wrench because of its ratchet. That's what I use. Okay, then I have a little handled I have a 4mm, a 5mm, and I have a 6mm here, and also just a little cutting tool to, just to cut off all the stuff. I have a pump right there. So depending how it goes, we'll just hopefully get through this in about 10 minutes or so. So I hope you'll stay with us. All right. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to take the seat. They should have given you a seat. I think I've only seen that happen once, where there was no seat for the bike, so that was a little embarrassing for everyone, but they eventually got one from wherever they purchased it from. So let me unwrap the seat and I'll be right back to show you what we're going to do. Okay, here we go again. So just to get it onto the stand and to make it easier, you don't have to do this, but this is what I do. And just importantly to say, with a bike, you're not building a bike, you're assembling it. They've already built it. Okay, so that's one important thing to mention, that that anybody really could assemble the bike. So let me show you what I'm doing here. So I'm adding the seat. Yes, I'm holding it up, adding the seat. I'm going to have it right up here somewhere so as I can put it on my stand. Okay, let me just tighten that with a 4mm. Sometimes they give you an adjustable seat clamp, sometimes they don't. All right, so the reason we do this is so that we can do this. Get the whole thing up. Always make sure you have the front this way out. Okay. Now you're going to start. You're going to be like one of these viral videos where I make a mistake. All right, open up the old stand. Put it on there, and away we go. That means I've got a great platform to use to remove all the packaging. Okay, we have our clippers to get rid of all the zip ties, and we'll do this quickly. And I think we'll probably pause when I'm in the middle of this, but just be careful when you're taking off the front wheel. Sometimes it is, excuse me for turning right back on you, sometimes it's wedged in between two of the cranks, as you can see. Hopefully you can see that there. Okay, put your wheel to one side. This is they have no air at all in them, of course, but some of them do come with air. Hey.
Oh, look, his car this way.
That's me.
Nice. Look like it goes fast.
Hold on. All right, we are outside one of our hotels that we service, and one of our managers just came by to say hi. So we'll just keep going with this. Have our wheel. So maybe I'll say this later too, but a lot of the time people don't route these cables correctly, and they wonder why their front brake is too tight and things like this. So we'll go over all that with you. Okay, here we go. So we should have a loose front handlebars at this point. Just keep taking everything off, and some will leave the back crank on so they can put the stabilize the front of it and put on the forks, but I don't think we need to do that. The stem, I should say. Alright. So we'll just take a little pause and we'll get back with you when we have all this packaging off. Okay, so we have the majority of the packing is off, and you should have a good loose handlebar right like this. We're going to take out the rest of this packaging and we'll assemble the fork. Excuse me, the stem. I'll get that right eventually, okay? So for whatever reason, they haven't put a stem on this, and it's a very easy job to put in. So stay with me. Okay, so this is like a maybe an extra step compared to many of the bikes that I assemble, but so I've changed my 4 to a 6. So just to have it loose like this again, oops, that's actually a 5, but it's a 6 here. So I'm going to undo the clamp just a little bit to get this plastic piece off. We're going to put some grease on the forks, and we have a little cap there for the top of the stem. So let's just do that. Okay. So I use Park Tool grease, and can't say enough about Park Tool except the fact that they're too expensive. But anyway, press tool. So a good load of grease on here. Just a little lather on there, enjoy yourself. And here comes the garbage truck again. I'll be right back. Okay, so just take your stem and your 6mm and just pop it in there. A little bit of extra grease is never any harm. Just loosely for now because we're going to adjust that later. All right. Just nice and finger tight, as we say. Okay. Great. Now change this over to a 5. So take our torque wrench and remove. You could also use the torque wrench, but just to keep it nice and easy and quick, we'll change the 5 to the 6, or 6 to the 5, other way around. Okay. That's my little piece of plastic for there. Not so important, but nonetheless it'll keep the rust out. So let's do the 5. And can you see that there? Yeah, I'm just undoing the forks, the stem. I'm going to get it right. See you in a moment. Okay, we take both of those out. Now, most importantly, this is when we're going to place the handlebars in there. All right. Now, this is, like I say, where a lot of people get it wrong. Okay, so you could just go right up and in. Okay, but chances are that's the wrong way around. Generally speaking, when they've assembled it, they have done this with the cables in order to make it easy for packing. So make sure you undo all that, right? Number one. Make sure that it's facing the front. Let's see. Yep, right, like there. Okay. That the brake handles are pointing downwards slightly, so it's easy on the wrists. But then, most importantly, make sure that your forks this time. I'll have to get my 6 out to twist it around, but we'll just do that real quick while we're talking to you. And most importantly, that the front brake is pointed around the right way, because this is where, like I say, a lot of people get this wrong. So let's just do that while we're talking to you. So we'll undo this here, loosen that up. Okay, and then take our bars, take our fork this time, and around we go. And that's a bit stubborn. Okay, yeah, you saw actually the way how stiff that was, and that's okay. Now we're going to put this around like this, and we're going to do the 6. I'm holding everything, but that's all right. 6 again. Again, just finger tight is good. Now, so here we go. So now, you see the way the front brake has rerouted itself? So we're going to undo that. The gear shifter, which is an unusual one, I think that's going to be up on the handlebars, but we shall see. So importantly, that the front brake is free, okay, and that the rear brake is free. Cables, all right, that they're not wrapped around here, they're not wrapped around there, but they're free out the front like this, okay. Now we'll just, again, we'll pause while we do this, but be back with you very shortly. Actually, let's just keep going with this. We'll do this finger tight for now. We have 1, we have 2, and I think I've put it, I think I have the 5 on my handheld wrench. Let's have a look. No, it's the 6. Don't worry, that's not going to fall anywhere. That's not going to go anywhere. So change back to the 5, and we are closing in on 10 minutes, so just stay with us. All right. So there we go. Make sure that's pointed downwards. All right, and make sure that it's centered. And usually there'll be some kind of a pointer there to center it for you. Okay. So there are your bars, and they're on for now. That may change later. Let's see. We've got this. That handbrake is. We've got to fix that. Okay, a little bit of work to do. We'll be right back. Okay, so just really a choice of 3 things we could do now, and really the 3 main things we need to do before we start fitting the bike. In other words, tightening up everything with a torque wrench and putting air in the tires, putting the pedals on, and putting the front wheel on. So we're going to put the front wheel on just so it looks somewhat like a bike, and I'm going to take a 15 wrench for that. I might not have mentioned that at the start. Take off the packaging. See it there? Yeah, just rip that off. If we can do that quickly, hopefully. And then we'll keep going. Okay, be right back. Can't do it quickly. Okay, so just a great safety feature is these little hooked washers. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, a little hooked washer on the front. Okay, so always make sure that they get hooked onto the little, I think you can see there's a little hole there, okay? And they are a tremendous addition, because it just means that even if the front wheel comes loose, the chances of it bouncing off are lessened. And I have had people tell me before, oh, my front wheel bounced off. It's like, that's highly unlikely with these washers. Now we have a front wheel on, and we're going to put the pedals on again with our 15, but just again finger tight with the front wheel. That is the good thing about those hooked washers too, is that they kind of line up the wheel pretty well for you. You don't have to worry about whether you're lined up correctly or not. We do have to put the shifters on too. I meant to mention that. But we won't tighten those fully until it's on the deck, because that, you know, that way it's gravity is pushing the wheel up as far as possible. All right, so pedals, just make sure that you always put the left on the left and the right on the right. Okay, it's normally lefty loosey, righty tighty, but with pedals it is righty lefty are both the same. Okay, they both turn the same way, so you'll see that as we put those on for you. But you know, most of them have an L and an R, okay, so that makes it easy. But some of the other bikes that we do, they don't have that. So a little bit of grease on the pedals, and we'll be right back. We'll get those on for you. Okay, we have added pedals with our 15, okay, and we have something happening there. Okay, so we've got some noise from the tire because we haven't put some air in yet. I can't recommend this enough. Can you see that there? Avid Power. They're about $80 on Amazon. Can't recommend it highly enough. They make some cool noise, and it means you save your arms. Listen to that. Isn't that a great sound? So for this one, it's not a regular, what I would call car valve or Schrader, it's Presta, so I have to have my little adapter for that. Okay, they are $3 for two in Walmart, so I'm not going to charge any more than that on Amazon. So we'll adapt that. Hope you can see that. Pressure is 45 to 65, which is always what I go by anyway. I'm always 55, always a little less, and that's because, I'll tell you why in a moment as soon as I get this started. All right, so we'll just tee that up. The reason I go a little less is because one day, once upon a time, I blew out a tire because I just kept pumping and pumping and pumping it with my hand. And well, just suffice it to say, I think it's the only tire I've actually ever blown out. I've blown out many tubes, no problem there. But in terms of tires, not only did it blow out the tire, it blew out the wall of the wheel. So that was immensely unusual, and I don't know whether I was just incredibly strong or maybe I just overdid it. I'm not sure. Either way, ever since then we've been very sort of wary of how much air we put in tires as the rain decides to come. Okay, so we'll do the front and we'll be right back with you. Okay, so now I think we're ready to take it off the stand, but before I do that, I'm going to run through the gears. So you'll see me just changing them there. I hope you can see that. Just changing the gears, just making sure that it's hitting. You know, noise on the front derailleur is a little hard to avoid completely, but just make sure that everything's working well. You don't need to lube anything because they've already done that for you. And they've given us some nice derailleurs, some nice Shimano, so I'm happy about that. Okay, that's working, so we'll take it down off the stand and then we'll do our final adjustments. Final adjustments mean just tightening up everything, torquing everything, that kind of thing. Oh, let's see if you can see me there. All right, we've definitely got to tighten that up, and we will be right back. Okay, we've been on all this time. Here we go. So we're adjusting the front brakes. That's an 8mm. Around everything and make sure that we have everything nice and kosher. be right back again. Okay, so this is where the beauty of the torque wrench comes in, and just the ratchet, and so much quicker and easier it is just to do that rather than have a loose Allen key. I honestly don't know why so many mechanics online recommend just take your little loose key, and how many times have you dropped a loose Allen key, how many times have you like, oh Lord, I cannot see it properly, or I cannot get to that little area as efficiently as I would like. So look at this, it's just so quick, and then you're also just making a judgment call on how tight it should be. With some of the carbon bikes you have to go by a specific torque, and there's a guide on there for you to do that. I generally don't do that with family bikes because we don't really need to, but we definitely have a good feel for what's good and what's bad. Okay, now I'm going to tighten up our brake handles are slightly askew, so we'll just loosen one of those and make sure that they line up correctly. So just one of those. Doesn't matter which one, just as long as they both are sort of lining up together. These garbage trucks have been going back and forth all morning. And there's another beauty of the torque wrench. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, I think that is about it. I put the seat down with a 4mm while I was away. So now I'm checking the brakes. We've already checked the gears. I'm going to go for a quick ride. Just make sure that you're 15, that you're going to tighten that up. I've already done that with the 15 on the front, holding it here and just making sure that the wheel is nicely centered, that your cables are routed correctly, as you can see there. And I think we're ready to go. So thank you so much for joining, and we are at spokesman.net, of course, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment, a like, a love, or a share. Thank you.